The Third World War continues to expand in the Team Yankee version of 1985. As the battle for Western Europe continues, NATO allies have pledged to support the struggle to contain the Warsaw Pact forces. The Canadians, French, Dutch, Australians and New Zealanders have entered the fray with new or adapted weaponry. The supplement begins with the usual maps and outlines of the war once more, adding in the positions of the new units. The first focus is on the Canadians, but each new nation has an account of their dispersal, the events that they were part of, and an overview of a particular action in the form of a narrative involving one unit. The Canadian Forces section begins with the force organisation chart for the core units, special rules and the attached support elements from other forces. The main armoured vehicle for the Canadians is the Leopard C1, with variants of the M113 in support. The unique vehicles such as the Lynx recce vehicles and the Swiss-made air defence anti-tank system. In contrast to the Canadians, the French forces are entirely self-sufficient, with their own armour, infantry and support elements, and special rules. Other NATO formations may be fielded as allies, but this is a powerful force. The main armour used is the AMX-30 tank, with mechanised infantry in AMX-10P infantry combat vehicles able to transport troops, then provide them with support. The Escadron de Cavaliers, or Armoured Cavalry Squadron, is a combined reconnaissance force of VAB armoured personnel carriers and AMX-10 RC armoured cars with their 105mm rifled gun. Gazelle helicopters and Mirage 5S provide airborne anti-armour support. The next section covers the staunch soldiers of the Royal Netherlands Army. The role of one corps is outlined, including a close-up of its deployment on a map. The setup of a tank squadron is shown, with the table of organisation of the corps and special rules shown. The main armoured vehicle here is the Leopard 2, backed up by the Leopard 1. A mechanised infantry company is shown next, with details on the infantry themselves and the YPR 765 PRI infantry fighting vehicle which supports them. Anti-aircraft elements are the PRTL vehicles based upon West German Gepards and infantry with Stinger ground-to-air missiles. The Dutch reconnaissance units are heavily armoured, with the Lynx like M113 CMV backed up with Leopard 1 and 2 tanks. The final force described is the improvised Anzac Brigade, based upon troops supposedly on exercise in the UK at the outbreak of hostilities. Again, the main role of the brigade is outlined and a particular action is described. The Anzacs are few in number but hit hard, have a number of unique aspects and get their main support from British forces. The main armour in use by the Anzacs is the Leopard AS-1, an Australian version of the tank, backed up by such M113 variants as the medium and light reconnaissance vehicles with their unique turrets. Support elements include anti-tank Land Rover sections plus the Scorpions manned by the New Zealanders. There are 3 scenarios detailed in the book with maps, special rules, force organisations and more. There are also the usual but useful painting guides and a look at the current and upcoming units for each of the nations discussed. This supplement does an excellent job of covering these nations that have been added to those available to Team Yankee NATO Force players. The whole supplement adds to the background of the game and presents new units and tactical options. As always, the overall layout of the book in terms of accessibility and use of photographs of painted miniatures only serves to make this a feast for the eyes. As soon as we get hold of the Free Nations figures, we will be unboxing these on video, so stay tuned for the next instalment of the Third World War.